The Q1 has returned, and you can pick it up for only 20 points in a spring of Series 27. This thing has 450 pounds, 390 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs only 2,675 pounds with a 2.98 litre engine. But this is a fun little thing because it is returning from Forza Horizon 4, which is also pretty cool to see it back. And honestly, it does look quite nice. Going to the inside, it does just look like your average 2010s car with just a lot of dials and gauges. And now let's go ahead and take a listen. So here we are now over in the upgrade shop. The first thing we're doing is jumping straight over to conversion and to engine slots. We've got two available, the Racing V12 and a Racing 7.2 litre V8. Both very interesting choices indeed. But also we can go ahead and drivetrain swap this thing, so we can go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive should we so wish to. And I think for now we're going to go ahead and just build it up to be an S1 class race build. Obviously we've got ourselves Forza Aero at the front, and going to the back we have got the wonderful, built from the ground up, totally not overused Forza rear wing. Going over to tyres, this thing starts out on sports. We can go and upgrade that to a semi-slick, which we are of course going to go and do because this thing is going to be a race build after all. And we're going to go ahead and upgrade the width of the front and rear tyres, and also probably the suspension as well. Oh, and brakes, can't forget those. Now, while this thing is very light stock, we can go ahead and take out even more and take it down to 2,280 pounds. Oh wow, okay, this thing is very, very light. Now, if you notice a slight change in audio quality, I am using a different microphone because I used to use a cell phone before, but sadly that decided to quit on me, so now I'm using another phone. Yay! I promise I'll try and get a decent microphone eventually. So here we are now at 2,246 pounds and 475 brake horsepower, and that only cost us 35.8k. I did not forget how much that was, you heard nothing. It's actually cool I can sit this far away and talk, because then it picks up everything. Also, it picks up everything, oh dear god. So here we are now over at the paint shop. Let's go to advanced. Sadly, there's nothing there like usual. And oh, we actually have a few manufacturer colours. Okay, here we go. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different manufacturer colours for this thing. And honestly, that is very, very bright. So this thing coming back from Forza Horizon 4, that marks, I think, the third returning from Forza car that we've got. Although somebody has told me before that the Lincoln Continental is returning from an earlier version of Forza as well. But honestly, we've had a lot of returning cars, but we have had quite our fair share of new cars as well. Anyway, here we are now at the Descenso Dorado Sprint. I've probably butchered the name of that, but oh well. It is honestly probably my favourite test track of all time. I'd love to know how many times I've driven this, but away we go. I don't know what's going on with the light at the left-hand side there, but it's deciding it wants to be a bit brighter, so we're just going to let it. So the first thing I noticed is this thing is a little bit understeery, but that's not too bad because it still did get us past the first corner, and we did of course also go up a space from 8th to 7th, which is pretty cool indeed. Now down here we're able to get past a lot of cars usually. There we go, that's 3 spaces in 1 turn. That is actually really, really good. Okay, come on, the Acura's right there. We can get the Acura surely. Oh no. Okay, we're making progress. We're doing pretty decent, up in 3rd. Ideally, I'd like to be up in 1st by now, but I think that's not too far away. McLaren, move it. Oh my god, that's close. Okay, we're going up to the latter part of the track now. We're over 60% through, taking our space back from the McLaren once again, and hopefully from the Audi as well, and keeping it this time. I think that's the only thing I've noticed about the Q1 already, is the fact that it's hideously understeery. I know you can fix it by putting on some aero, but I was trying to go for a few aeroless cars with these builds, and who knows, maybe I might put some aero on it and make it a full race build again sometime soon with an alternated tune. Who knows? If you want to see that, let me know. In the meantime, here we are around the final little turn curve thingy, and across the line we go with what I hope is a first place if we're lucky. In fact, there it is, a first place with a time of 1 minute 58. So after what was quite a race, we're now back over the upgrade shop. We're jumping over to conversions, and I think we're going to throw in the Racing 7.2 litre V8. And you know us, of course, we have to twin turbo that, as well as throw on all-wheel drive, because we're making this thing into a little bit of a drag build. Now, back in Forza Horizon 4, this thing, I would dare say, would have been inside the top, I don't know, top 5, I'd say, for decent drag cars. So I'm hoping, I don't know if it's going to be for certain, but I'm hoping that it's going to be pretty decent here too. I'm well aware that, you know, we do have the Lamborghini Diablo, we've got the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5, we've got all that, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we might just have a potentially new fastest track car, but I doubt it. But I guess at the end of the day, there's only one way to find out. So now we're sat at over £2,400 with 1,356 brake horsepower, and we're just under halfway through S2, and this thing is going to cost us 101,850 credits. We're going broke with this one. So I got this far, and then I remembered I forgot to switch over the suspension. So we're going to be running with some race suspension this time, and maybe, you never know, it might just make a difference. I keep my fingers crossed though that it's going to be a good difference, because if it isn't, then, well, we start to panic. So here we are now over at the back of the Horizon Festival. We're going to chuck this thing into a little bit of a wheelie check. Obviously we've got nothing this time around because I was stupid and forgot suspension, but we're going to go ahead and take this thing over to the drag strip and see how it goes. Okay, here we are now over at the drag strip. We're going to go ahead and get launch control ready, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we can get out of this thing. I'm hoping it's going to be pretty decent, because obviously this thing used to be a brilliant drag car, and through the camera, hopefully at 226. Okay, off the edge of the runway at 253. So far, this is definitely living up to expectations. Oh, and I think this is the first track car I've got that can actually brake. Now, because I was an absolute genius and forgot to change my suspension, thankfully we don't have to worry about that. But we are going to go ahead and put on some semi-slick race tyres, and I think that might just be all that we need. Although it is me, so I wouldn't be surprised if I got to the edge of the motorway and forgot something. But the one thing I've not forgotten is what we've got in this week's Forza shop. We've got ourselves the number 11 Ford F-150. We've got the Doodle jumper jacket, technically jumper, but I don't know why it is under jackets, but whatever. Forza, you do you. We've got the jump on it emote, the Horizon Super Wheel Spin, and probably the best thing I've seen in a while, the Hoonigan Ford RS200 Evolution. Oh, and the regular wheel spin too. So here we are now over at the edge on the motorway. We're going to get on launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we can get out of this thing. Hopefully something decent in top speed, but you know, I've got a feeling this thing might hit the 280s. Well, I say might, it probably will. Okay, and through the camera we go at 278.62, and we still have the downhill and speed camera to go. I really hope I said speed zone and speed camera back there, because I have been known to say speed camera twice before. And through the camera I completely forgot to keep track of 279 going downhill at 282. So this thing did manage to get 280, which means my prediction was actually correct for once, which I'm honestly pretty happy about. That is absolutely insane that this thing, of all cars, can get up to 282 miles an hour. That is insane. I love that. Okay, now the scary bit. I need to force this thing to break traction because we're taking it drifting. So let's go ahead, get sideways, and see what we can get out of the Rossion Q1 through the edge of the drift zone at 37,079 points, which is not too bad, but I feel like we could do better. Okay, here we go for attempt number 2. Now we're going back the other way. We've got 37,080 points to beat. Let's keep it sideways and see what we can get. This thing is actually doing really well. 41,604, but we did end up missing the last post, so but I've got to say, this thing is definitely worth the time that you put in to get this thing, because honestly, it is absolutely insane. Genuinely, I think this is probably one of the fastest cars we've had added to this game for quite a while. And of course we're... oh. Well, I was going to say we're going to send it to space, but apparently that rock has other ideas. In the meantime, that is this video on the Rossion Q1. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to go ahead and share this to anybody else who wants to know what this thing is like. And yeah, it's honestly a pretty cool car. I definitely recommend it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Check out. See ya. I wonder if they ever made a Rossion Q2.